Yes, indeedy. And we are back.
We back.
And we still black.
Yes.
Hey.
Love you, black man.
Yes,
Love
indeedy.
you,
We're
black.
back on Jerry Bell's R&B Soul Classics here at LA Talk Live.
Yes.
The grasshopper had to hop out because he had a broken wing. And so he put his protege in to cover for him today, thinking that was going to make a difference.
Okay.
But it did not at all. And, you know, we are still champion of champions.
Ooh, yeah. Yes.
But, I mean, you know, Shock, you cool, brother. I mean, I won't take nothing away from you too much.
Shock is holding it down, man.
Well, you know, I want to thank everybody because this is, you know, the information that's coming from this, you know, this panel, you know, is incredible.
Well, thank you, brother.
You know, and I want to thank y'all for allowing me to sit in because I'm a little, you know, I'm a young guy.
Hey, man, no, it's all good. I mean, you know, if it wasn't for the broken wing one, you know what I mean? You wouldn't be here today, you know what I'm saying? Right?
It's all right. He's spewing some knowledge as well.
You're in the school of rock.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, while we here, Larry, I got to do this because my man is just, I want people to hear him. He's bad. PB97.
Right.
I got these PB different numbers for him.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna get into.
We gotta tell him how that started, man.
Well, you tell him,
man. The amazing Jerry Bell, man. We go way back, man. I think I met Jerry in sometime in the early '90s. But coming up, I was a really big fan of the Daz Band, and they were along with EWF and all those other great bands. And my name is Procton Bonnell III, so a lot of people have a hard time saying that, you know. So I would go and say, hey, yeah, my name is PB3, you know, and I was really proud of that PB3 handle, you know. It was quick and easy, and everybody was like, oh, PB3, man, that's kind of cool, you know. So when I met Jerry, you know, Jerry said, hey, man, brother, you sang real good, man. And, you know, what's your name? I said, my name is PB3, man. You know, he said, PB what? I said, PB3. He said, is that what your mama named you?
Right.
And I said, yeah. So he said, well, look here. I said, well, my name is, Procton Bonnell, but my music family calls me PB3.
That's what he told me.
So he said, well, yeah, everybody call you that? I said, yeah. He said, well, I'm not going to call you that then. I will call you PB109, you know. I will call you PB2012, you know. And it stuck, man. And he still, to this day, he is the only person that'll hit me up no matter how many years we've seen each other or haven't. He said PB9000. You know? So that's where that came from. And I absolutely love it, man. It tickles me to death. Wow. It really does.
Hey, but you know, the man got, you know me, I'm a stickler about the vocal.
Yes, he is.
The boy got voice.
Yes, he does.
And I want him to
do his thing.
No,
yeah,
you gonna put me on the
I'm
spot,
gonna put you on the spot, man. Look here. We're right now. We're being seen in 150 countries. So this is your debut, bro. Come on, brother.
Jerry, I don't have much more than that today, man.
Sing
but
madness.
thank you, man.
Thank
you. I appreciate that.
Sing In the Stone.
In the Stone. Uh-oh.
Come on.
Every man, that part. Every man I see.
Wait a minute. How about this one?
Okay, that one.
Wait. See, I ain't
that red light, the red light. No, that's a blue light.
That's a blue light.
Come on, brother.
Every man has a space in his heart. There's a place in the world can erase his fantasies.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Now sing something in your natural voice. Come on. Like Seinfeld said, just do
I'm drawing a blank, man. I'm just happy to be here, man.
Hey.
I'm amongst these legends, and you
in
guys
the stone. In the stone.
See now.
Every man I meet.
Oh, there it is. Every man I meet, walking time. Freedom wonder passes conscious mind. Oh, see.
Come on.
Forgot the rest.
If you don't know it, just hum it.
Look, man. It's all good.
No, he's a singing mother figure.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, he's on the LDO, the Larry Dunn Orchestra.
I should have rehearsed, man. Rehearsal.
Right. Oh, yeah, back to that.
I know now.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
No, but that's my man. He, for those of you out there who have not heard, the PB91 is the man. He's vocally equipped, and he can definitely whip it, man.
Right.
And I, coming from these legends, man, I'm humble,
Right?
Extremely, extremely humble.
Now, the shock factor. I mean, he's vocal too.
Yeah,
That's a bad boy.
That boy there.
Oh yeah.
That boy there.
Dabble.
Yeah.
That boy there is hey, look, man.
Hey, Larry, what's your favorite song on this?
The shock factor.
On the Twilight World.
Twilight World.
Don't try to get out of it now. You don't want to be put on the spot. See?
Hey, I don't mind. I've been on the spot for a long time, and I do what I do, but I'm just not, I'm just getting over it.
But you know what? I'm glad that you can sing and Grasshopper ain't back there.
Yeah.
Because, let me tell you, you talking about not a voice.
Yeah.
No, that's my man.
Yeah, one of my favorites is,
Twilight World.
The Twilight World,
That's
which
it
features
right
her.
there.
But you know what's funny? Because when it came out, all the guys, that was their favorite.
Wow.
Hey, play Twilight World so we can hear her vocal.
Yes.
Don't be fooled by love songs and lonely hearts. You go, Louisa.
Yeah. Miss Louisa Dunn, y'all. This is what you're hearing on
My
the background.
favorite song. I love this song.
Yeah, baby.
Louisa
Oh,
Dunn.
come on now. Yeah.
Louisa Dunn.
Hey, listen, we got
Yeah.
a caller. Caller, where you at? Talk to us. Hello. Caller on the line. Caller, say something. Who you want to talk to?
Caller?
We got Larry Dunn here.
Caller.
We have we have Lisa Dunn. We have Tasha Set. We have PB11. Oh, the
We
caller's
have
gone.
Jerry Bell.
Got
Caller.
nervous.
Caller got nervous.
I remember.
They did a PB.
I remember that song. After the call
It's gone.
Caller's back.
Hello,
Hey.
Who this be?
this is Tony Love calling from Atlanta.
Tony.
Tony Love, how you doing, my brother?
How you doing?
I've been really enjoying this.
Thank you so much. So have we.
Hey, that's a beautiful thing, man.
Tony Love.
Now let me give you a little backstory
You don't
about
get a
Tony.
chance to hear from masters like this every day.
Yeah.
You know,
Talk
the
about
media is focusing on youth, and they're not focusing on the veterans.
You still there, Tony?
Yes, I am.
Oh, okay.
I got to turn my sound down because it's, I'm a little delayed.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Right.
You have a question for anybody?
Yes. Larry, was that song, for instance, I have a few questions, but that song I just heard was one you produced with you and your wife?
Yes, sir. That's on the Larry Dunn Orchestra Into the Journey CD.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was Swing Out Sister.
So, Swing Out Sister?
Yeah, that was Swing Out Sister back in the 80s, and she always loved that song. And our other Japanese buddy that is a great guy, he used to always talk about it because she used to sing it at karaoke, and he said, why don't you guys just do a remake? Yeah. And I said, hey, Jerry, so the nah. So this and that. Now, ask Jerry what that means.
Okay, yeah. So this and that.
You know what that means? Oh, yeah, huh?
I forgot some of my Japanese.
All right.
No, you know what's funny? You know, when I go to Japan, see, Jerry's the cat. You know, me and Luis have been there quite a few times, but, you know, we do the business coverage. Well, Tashawa, let done this. Those of you the Chico. And then they started, what? We're like, okay, that's it. I'm just kidding.
That's awful.
I know, you know, a few word chunan buteri. You know.
Right.
And then I would say, they go, no, chunan butari. No, chunan buteri. That's what I'm saying. No, you're not done. Forget it. Let me go back to English.
Oh, my.
That's a lot.
Wow.
But
So,
Tony,
Larry, are you gigging now as well?
I will be.
Yes,
right.
sir.
Yes, sir.
We will be.
We will be.
You remember that? Yoda. What was it? Luke Skywalker said, but I'm not afraid. And Yoda said, you will be. You will be. So,
I was listening earlier, Larry and Jerry,
Yes, sir.
about how the band members in L.A. don't like to rehearse. And it's the same way here in Atlanta. My mother, I was just talking to my mother, telling her about the show. I was so excited. I was almost cutting her off. I was like, Mom, I want to talk to you later. But I was telling her that the musicians don't like to practice, and she was asking me, was I gigging? And that's part of the reason why I don't like to, because they just want to come out. You know the key, Tone.
Yeah.
You know, you know what key this is. You know the song.
So does the
consequently,
audience.
It doesn't have the same impact.
Yeah.
And not only that, you know, most of them cats are lazy. Or either they looking for it's a cat wants you to pay him before he even learned the song.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be
Right.
kidding me.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just trust me.
Right.
No,
Or either he wants
ain't gonna happen.
to get paid to sound good.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
When it should be.
Right.
When it should be sounding good all the time.
Right.
Right.
Yes. It's backwards.
Yeah. You know, so it's this generation, man, that, you know, flip the script on that kind of stuff. I mean, and these cats, and that's why they're not working. They have no gigs, and they're running around as winos.
True.
And, you know what I
They're
mean?
not steady.
Right. Right. And a lot of it, Tony, is just profiling, you know, because, you know, we want to get the women. We want to, you know. It's I mean, you know, if that's your thing, then good luck. And, you know, like 2 years from now, nobody will remember your name.
Right.
Wow.
You know, but like I said, if you have
Right.
if you have appreciation for the gift and for the people, because like I said, man, money, like my dad said, money don't grow on trees. So when these people are paying to see you, that's the very least you can do.
The very least.
Yeah.
Exactly. Give them their money's worth.
And
Give them their
more.
money's
That's
worth.
right.
Give them something they'll remember.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Hey, brother. And then, you know, there are no shows.
Right.
People ain't putting on shows.
Yeah. Whatever happened to
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Yes.
What happened to the show?
Yeah, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? The shows, man. People want to be entertained properly.
That's right.
And I think for
What's
black
the problem
music,
with the show? I mean, why can't they just say, "Hey, let's get together and do a show"?
'Cause they
I think
don't-
for black-
they don't know how.
Tell them,
that
Larry.
Yeah, they
I
don't
think,
know how.
I think for black music, when they cut out the so-called R&B departments, they didn't. When technology came in with the drum machine, right? It cut off the drummer, right? And then the drummer, and then other plugins and VSTIs and all those things came in, and then it made the musician obsolete.
Right.
And so now you see a guy in the studio, maybe one or two guys doing all and everything now because of technology. And they didn't want to take, they didn't want the black bands, for one reason, going out there anymore because it was costing so-called too much money, while rock bands still be able to do what they do, country bands still be able to do what they do, but so-called R&B, so-called bands, they're like, we got to cut all that out. Y'all can't go out there and perform. It's too much money.
Right.
It's too much.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this. There is a plot, and the plot thickens. You know what I mean? The plot is that our R&B music educated our people, and it kept us together as a united front. because you can always go
Right.
to the R&B spoke to everything. You know when it really when they realized that R&B was a very serious thing to deal with was when Boston went into an uproar and they had to call James Brown.
Wow.
And when
I
James
remember
Brown,
seeing that.
you remember that?
It's on YouTube
Yeah.
now.
And when James Brown came in and settled the waters, then they knew,
We got
a problem.
Yeah.
And then when James came
The
out
power
with
of music.
yes, and not only that, when he came out with Your Identity, say it loud,
I'm black and
I'm
I'm
black
proud.
and I'm proud.
Wow.
Black and I'm proud.
You know what I mean? Then everyone started
Yeah.
realizing that R&B is the thing. Even with Earth, Wind and Fire. When Earth, Wind and Fire came out during the civil rights movement and started doing these different things, Billy Paul, Am I Black Enough for You?
Yeah.
All these kind of things, man,
Yeah.
started bringing together the unity of the people. And that also made your parents sit you down and say, you know what, listen to this.
Right.
Or romance. Romantically, black men and women, if they ever had a problem, if you wanted to say something to a woman, you take a Delphonic song and put it on and say,
Yeah, buddy.
I'll call you back.
Marinate on
Boy,
this.
know
you
what I'm
guys are
saying?
saying a mouthful, boy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Because
saying?
I'm saying that the music now, you know, it's just one or two subjects.
Right.
Booty,
Right. And more booty.
wheels, jewelry,
Yeah, bling.
But you know that
mollies, or drugs.
And the music videos are that way.
Sodom and Gomorrah. But you know what, Jerry, you talking about, you know, Black and I'm Proud. You know, me and Hilliard way in Philip way back in the day. I'll never forget. We were doing that song at this party. They say it loud. I'm black and I'm maced. They came and maced. They came and maced the
They
whole
maced
party.
you, really?
And that's the first time I had ever experienced that. It's
Wow.
like, I'm like, oh, that's what they got for you?
Wow.
Oh yeah, that was deep.
That was
I
you
was
and
like,
Hilliard and Phillip?
yeah, I mean, we was only I was like 12 years old, 12 or 13 years old.
Wow.
And we were saying, say it loud, I'm black. Next thing you knew, our ass was being maced.
Wow.
Brothers was running all over the
wow.
place. Yeah, it was pretty deep, man.
That's amazing.
Reality radio. Handcrafted.
What was that song?
Wow.
Was it People Make the World Go?
Yeah, people make the world go
Make
round.
the-
That's the
Yeah, man.
stylistics.
Yeah.
Tom Bell.
Yeah, we played all
First
that
Cousin
stuff.
wrote it.
We played
Yes,
all of that
indeed.
music.
Yeah.
But yeah, see, music, you know, it's like Louis Satterfield, God bless him, man. Rest his soul. He was the trombone player with Earth, Wind and Fire. Then he was one of the four brothers with the white suits, the Phoenix Horns with
Right.
Phil
Right.
Collins. But people don't know, he actually was he taught Verdine how to play the bass.
Wow.
Because he was over at Chess Records playing with Muddy Waters and the Charles Stepney and all that stuff. And he used to say, he said, man, Dunn, when we was kids, we say, what we're going to do tonight? We're going to play some music. And he said, man, what does the word play entail? I said, well, he said, right, to have fun. He said, well, you know, the minute it ain't fun, he said, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but don't call it music.
Right.
Wow.
And like I said, some of the videos you see today, it's just like, wow. As a matter of fact, Hilliard, our bass player, sent us a song yesterday, and it's always from England. It's this young group from England called Yelvis. It's like Elvis, but Yelvis.
Oh,
They got this.
right. I
this,
saw that on the charts this week.
Right. It's got like what does the fox say? And it's really goofy, but what does the fox say? Nee, 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 nee. And it's very, but it's very, very, very rhythmic, very rhythmic, very cute. And so many kids are loving it because the kids, this is their way of saying, hey, y'all may think that we into this, but we ain't into all this Sodom and Gomorrah garbage. Give
Yeah,
us something
man.
fun.
Give
And
us
you know what?
something fun.
Here you say, man, check it out. When I talked to him, he said, man, it's got like 97 million hits. By the time, 20
Wow.
minutes later, when I looked at it, it had 98 million hits.
Wow.
And you know what? And that's what that shows you and shows these companies. Even the kids are thirsty for something different, something that they ain't about.
But you
like
know,
I said, booty and more booty.
But let me
Yes,
let me
yeah.
express something to you about what's happening. See,
Break it down, Master.
the plot thickens. Okay.
wait, let me do
Okay.
it. The
Do
plot,
it now.
ladies and gentlemen, producing and presenting Jerry Bell Part 2.
Do it, JB.
Hold it.
51.
Jerry Bell Part 2. The plot thickens.
Look, the plot thickens. Check this out. What is happening here is that they have to dumb down the generation
Yes.
because they can't have a generation like we had. We rose up against the tyranny. We had revolutionaries coming up, from the Black Panthers to the Nation of Islam,
Oakland, California.
the Mau Mau's. I mean, we had revolutionaries, and then individually, we were saying we're not standing for this. Even our women fought. Even our women who were the poets, from Nikki Giovanni, and you had the last poets. You know, all of the revolutionary things that brought a united, not just our people, but a united people together. When the Vietnam War came about, and you had a lot of the hippies that were saying, we ain't going to war. This ain't happening. We're not going over to kill nobody. Muhammad Ali,
Hello.
you know, Muhammad Ali says, you know, the Viet Cong didn't call me nigga, and I'm not going over there.
That's right.
You know,
Yes.
you had Sly and the Family Stone, don't call me Whitey, nigga, don't call me nigga, Whitey. You know what I mean? And the music set the pace
It was a message.
for everything that evolved around our life and shaped us to be the parents that we became, to be the entertainers that we became, to be the husbands, the wives,
The
and
friend.
the friends that
Right.
we became. Now you don't know who to trust.
That's right.
And then they got you so twisted that, okay, I'm going to work for the people, for the man, so that I can go and give up the information on these cats over here, not realizing that once you do that, they're going to get you anyway.
That's
Because
right.
you know too much now.
Right.
You know, so the plot is, let us dumb them down. Let us destroy the there are two sides to this situation, because the other side, unfortunately, for, you know, like you said, the racism and the bigotry still exist in this day and time.
Yes.
So the industry, the people that exist in the industry, the powers that be, and I'm gonna say this because I don't need them. I don't ask them to play my records and beg them to give me a record deal and all that kind of stuff, especially when we got the internet, and plus we get on tour and go. You know what I mean?
That's
We got radio free right here.
Right. We good.
I mean,
Radio
we're
free.
in 150 countries.
LA Talk
so
Radio Live.
everybody can hear our music all over the world.
Right.
And then when we go different places, I get hits like
Yeah.
crazy too. What's happening is, if you are a black act, even when you look at some of these shows, with The Voice and what's this other one, America's Got Talent, and
X
all this
Factor
X
and all
Factor.
those, yeah.
You see the black artists that'll go up, black singers that'll go up, and they'll be killing it.
And get voted off,
Yeah. Now you let someone white go up to sound like they black,
and they win.
hands
all an
down.
illusion.
Hands down.
So true.
It's
know what I mean?
madness.
So true.
You know what? There was a story with Larkin Arnold, and Byron Miller told me this story.
Oh, Larkin.
Because God bless him, you know, he did the Caldera, which was my first production. I was 20 years old, Sky Islands. But then it was years down the road when Byron Miller, you know, bass player from George Duke, and he said, Larry, man, I'm kind of perturbed. I said, what? He said, I took this artist to Larkin, and she's, you know, sister, great singer. And he said, you know what Larkin told me? He said, find me one that's white, and then we can talk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Why do y'all think that they said that?
And I'm not saying
I'ma tell you why.
I'm not saying that's his fault. You know, like I said, yeah, that's his.
I blame him.
He's up in there.
But I'm going to blame him. I'm going to blame him.
Master Brigadier.
I'm going to blame him. You know what I mean?
Why?
Because I have no
Master
fear in
Bell.
him.
No, but maybe he wanted his paycheck.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
The thing is that it goes back to, they think about the money. I'll give you a prime example. Right now with Robin Thicke.
Number one on the R&B charts.
Robin Thicke, and then
Yes.
turn right around and want to have a battle with the Gay family
Yeah.
about Marvin Gaye's sound. How?
Him and Pharrell, yeah,
You know what I mean? How are you going to do this, white boy?
yeah,
You know what I mean? You cannot.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You are fortunate to even be blessed to get close to something
Right.
of a Marvin Gaye or anybody of our nature. You
Yeah.
know, everything comes from us. But what happens is, you know, it's funny. There's a teacher by the name of Dr. Phil Valentine. He's a metaphysicist.
Metaphysicist. Yeah.
And he's incredible.
Yes, he is. And Dr. Phil Valentine said, and it was so right on the money, that a lot of people are saying, you know, go back to Africa. Or we don't need black people on the planet. And someone wrote someone wrote something up and saying, what would it be like without blacks?
Wow.
Dr. Phil Valentine said that if there were no blacks on the planet at all, it would turn into an ice age.
Wow.
Because without our pigmentation, the air can't breathe itself.
Wow.
It breathes from us, from our skin.
Yeah.
You know, so there is no existence on the planet without, even animals would die and the plants would die without us on the planet.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know what I mean? That's amazing
It's real though.
to know.
That's heavy.
You know, so this is the ones that call themselves wise and the thinkers and the think tanks and all these different people, they have no clue, man. I was in Africa and I was in the Congo. And so there were priests in the Congo that do certain types of things. I mean, they you have Africans that can tell you about the stars and what's to come, and they've never had a telephone in their life.
Telepathy.
You know what I mean? They communicate. One of the masters said, he says, "Don't you know that before we were taken out from our natural habitat, don't you know that we used to close our eyes and think to be in one place?" And he said, "What is that movie, that TV thing you guys have in America, which is the track?" So he was talking about Star Trek.
Yeah.
So he said, you know how
The teleporter.
teleport? He said, "We would do this. This is nothing."
Wow.
And that's real. People don't understand how incredible we were with frequency.
Yes.
You know,
We
and how
still are.
and how we use, but now we're using it for somebody else's bidding.
Right.
They got us using our frequency for their bidding and for their money and for their greed and for their purpose. And they telling us, "Oh, y'all can't use it for y'all and what y'all want to do, but y'all have to use it for us. And if you don't use it for, for them, then you can't get in. You can't get a deal.
Yeah.
You can't get that. You
Listen.
can't, And who cares? But I'm
Look,
just saying.
another
Right.
example.
No, that's true.
The example. Hey, the example
Speaking
of
of frequency,
yeah, the example of one of the greatest entertainers that ever touched the stage was Michael Jackson.
Amen.
And
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
the magic that this man had on a platform was beyond your imagination.
Say that again.
And look, I was in Japan with Michael on the Bad tour.
Wow.
Now, before we even got on stage, the place was, I mean, you're talking about
Electric.
Energy.
oh man, you're talking about you can feel like it was a force field
Yeah.
in the air.
Wow.
That, I mean, I'm telling you, that's how powerful it was. And if you go back and look at any of Michael's videos of
Man.
concerts that he's done anywhere in the world,
Yeah.
no one on the planet has ever sold out like that before.
wow.
Around the globe.
Right.
Michael would walk on the stage, and before he could open his mouth, people passing out.
I love you, Michael.
Yeah, you know what I mean? They passing out, and then when the show is over, they're asking us, say, "Well, what happened?" You know, you and the one girl said,
Missed it.
"Listen," one girl said, she said, I don't know. It's just I saw him and I got blank." So it was just his radiation, his appearance.
Amazing.
Imagine what we have inside of us that we don't even know to propel. And Michael was a reader and a thinker.
And a
Yes.
businessman.
Yes, indeed.
Very
And a
much.
business
And what he
man.
did was he flipped the script on the powers that be in the industry, and they got pissed.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is why they beat up on his mama with this
Lawsuit.
AEG
Court case.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they know that these people are wrong.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know what I mean? They know it. And I'm gonna say it. You know what I mean? I don't care. What you want to do?
Just,
You know what I mean?
just
you wanna
us.
do.
Yeah.
Well, like I tell you, man, like I said, man, all that hatred, all that stuff is all the way back from Cain and Abel. I mean, the very first murder, and you know, and I told people, I said, no, the skin color thing, that's definitely one thing, but see, it's actually the nature, the sin nature, because you can go to Ireland, where they look exactly like twins, you know, the same skin tone, and they've been killing each other for years. I'm a Protestant, I'm a Catholic, so it's just, as I said, for our battles, not against flesh and blood.
But
Principality, spiritual wickedness in high places. Like he was hitting on the music stuff. When Earth, Wind, and Fire did Mighty Mighty, Maurice was perturbed, and I don't blame him, because that was starting to jump off big time. And then a lot of the DJs around the country on the pop stations wouldn't play it because it said, "We are people, mighty people of the sun."
Wow.
And Maurice said, he said, "Wait a minute." He said, "The last time I checked, the sun shines on all of us."
Yes.
Right.
So a lot of times it is that select ignorant few, because they got as much hatred for white people or Asian people as they do, like the KKK. We don't have one drop of bull. My mother was Italian and my father was very dark skinned. And my mother said, "Don't be telling people I'm white." She said, "I'm Italian." And, Hannibal ran through that.
She's the Moorish from the Moors.
Right, but she said too. She said, "You know what? If you want to make it, you're going to have to be 3-4 times as good as these white boys."
Exactly.
That's right.
And I mean, and like I said, and now there's so much hatred on every level that you see this stuff's going on with the shutdown and stuff. They could care less about the white man, the white lady, the white kid, the black kid. They don't care. They care about that green. And they always get me because they talk about evangelical right, or the Republican Party, we're Christian people. I said, no. I said, well, you know what? They always talk about, we don't want to see our children or our children's children go into debt. I said, well, wait a minute. I think what you don't want to see is nobody going into your pocket to take one penny out. But see, even Christ himself said, take care of the poor. Why? For they will always be with you. You don't hear him quoting that.
No. Or, they talk about they kill, they do all this stuff, and it's just an oxymoron.
Right.
Yeah. And which leads me to say very briefly is that we have to be careful about the information that we've gathered all this information in all our lives, right? And they've been putting out disinformation and leading us in the wrong direction spiritually, energy-wise, to do their bidding. Yeah. They told us, when we came over here 500 years ago, when they took us, stole us, and stuff like that, and then did forced labor, that they had a plan. When in the 1900s, when Tesla came up with broadcasting, behind, the fat cats and stuff, when they came up with TV, they had a plan. And they had this plan. And then even with religion, politics, they have a plan. We don't know it yet because all we want to do is just live. Right. And, we always been in, below the poverty line. Our numbers have always been up there. Yeah. And only until when we were having our own shit in the Harlem Renaissance. Yeah. Right. When we had our own. And once we went away from our own, and now we wanted to be somebody else or something other than self. Now we're begging somebody. Yeah. I need money to do an album. I need money to do this. I need money, and it's the same oxymoron that we're dealing with. It was
all in the plan.
When are we going to wake up and take ownership for our own self?
It was all in that plan.
I'm just saying. Thank you.
Talk about it.
But it goes back. It goes back to
Jared, you know how you were talking about Michael Jackson?
Yes.
And how deep he was?
Right.
And I think Michael definitely was influenced by Earth, Wind, and Fire. And
almost definitely.
The era.
Earth, Wind, and Fire, James Brown,
and all the groups of the era was so deep. I think they were scared when they saw how deep you guys were.
You know what?
My God.
Tony, Michael was so great. We did this thing called the Rock and Roll Sports Olympics. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it was like the East Coast was Sha Na Na, the Jacksons, I forgot who it was, and Tanya something. Then the West Coast was the Commodores, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And Michael was standing right next to me. I had my pants, the Adidas sponsored, so I had the pants from the knee down. I had them unzipped so they would flap. Mm-hmm. And Michael was standing right next to me, and he said, you guys have the tightest tracks. I said, oh, Michael, thank you. But then he said, your pants there are not zipped. And instead of me saying, well, I just like that, I said, okay. And he said, okay, let me get this one. And he did. But you know what? I didn't feel none of that he was gay and all that stuff. Michael was just a nice guy.
Yeah.
And he loved the music.
Nice guy.
Right. He just had a big heart, and everybody wants to,
My kids, I have twin boys, and my sons used to hang out at Neverland Ranch with Mike. On the rides and all that. And everybody who know me know that if it would have been anything funny with anything, Mike wouldn't. I'd have got Mike a long
Jerry,
time.
say that again, man.
You know
say
what I mean?
that.
Exactly, right?
Because it really bothers me when people say that.
Yeah. But see, that's because of the ignorance in people. They go by what they read in the paper. No, look, let me say this. since we're talking about Michael, let me say this. Let me clarify this up. First of all, Michael beat the Jew boys at their own game.
Amen.
Mike outsmarted them dollar-wise. He ended up owning half of Sony.
Half of
He
Sony.
ended up becoming one of the greatest entertainers of all time. He ended up beating them out the Beatles catalog.
Amen.
And then he did the worst thing that they could think about. He married the king's daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was spanking him. And then when he got the Beatles catalog, he gave it back. He gave it to Barry Gordy.
Wow.
You see what I mean? Because he considered Barry Gordy as his second dad, and he knew how they treated Barry Gordy in the industry. So when they looked at the numbers that Michael was kicking out, especially on them tickets,
Yeah, man.
them ticket sales, and when Mike look at Michael's videos. When Mike would step out and go to any country, they would have to bring armies, not police.
That's right.
Armies to escort him. That's how.
Wow.
I mean, he was more known than the president of a country or of the United States.
That's
In
right.
the world.
In
Yeah.
the world.
And the only two people on this planet, besides Jesus, that was known like that was Michael Jackson and Muhammad Ali.
Amen.
Right.
Wow.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's true.
Though that tells you about our power.
That's true.
No one else on the planet. Nobody.
Nobody.
You know what I mean? Nobody on the planet has
Nobody.
ever.
Nobody.
Look, JB, I haven't seen it yet,
With that
man.
much power, Michael could have been mad arrogant, but he was real humble.
He was
Yeah.
real humble.
But you know what the fear was? See, everybody wants to say that Mike was a dope fiend and he did this and that and the other. You know, the biggest fear was that if Michael said do something to an audience of the magnitude that he would stand in front of, it would happen.
And it would have been global.
Yes.
And
You know
it
what
would
I
have been
mean?
global.
Yeah. And then for Michael to be Michael had more power as one man. Remember in Malcolm X. Oh, that's another one. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
forgot Malcolm. Malcolm was another one that was well known. Remember in the movie Malcolm X when Malcolm was standing outside the police station and he said, well, Brother Beasley, we ain't leaving until we see Brother Beasley.
Right.
And they said, what are you talking about? He said, well, Brother Beasley's brothers are outside.
Right.
And when Malcolm looked out the window and pointed his finger and all the brothers came to attention, that
much
was it.
power.
And then what did the man say? He said, that's too much power for one man.
For one man.
So imagine,
Right.
imagine imagine what they thought about Michael Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
You know what they thought about Muhammad Ali.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Muhammad Ali was like, you know what? I'll fight you to the end.
Wow.
I fought you. I fought the every man in the ring. When you want to fight? Well, we go to Washington. I'll fight. You want to lock me up? Lock me up. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna stop talking. I'm gonna tell you how I feel.
Yeah.
That's where we have lost ourselves. I'm that way.
Yeah.
I'm that way to this, and you know, I'm that way to this day.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? We gonna do it to the death. I don't
Yeah,
care about
man.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's easy for me.
Yeah.
You know, and they know that when you have a man that is afraid, that's not afraid to die, you have a problem.
You got a problem.
So imagine a whole multitude of people who think that way, who walk that way, who act that way, who are not afraid. You know, look at what they don't want to happen in this country is for what has happened in other countries. America is a melting pot of every nationality that you can think about. People have come from other countries that have actually destabilized their own countries. Whenever the government was right, they overthrew it. They don't want that to happen here. And you got those same kind of people that are right here, mixed in
man.
all of this.
Yeah, man.
So imagine,
Ready.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Imagine if everyone were to think like that, or people, you know, like the thing that's going on with the gun control thing.
Gun control.
Yeah, where the sheriffs out of Arizona and Colorado and those are saying we're not siding with the federal government to join up with you all to go in and kick people's doors in and take their guns, and then if they have guns, arrest them. He said in the Constitution,
Yep.
we have the right to bear arms.
That's right.
So he said what you all want to do is that you want to start a revolution. Because if you continue to push the American people, they're only going to be pushed so far until they fight back.
That's right.
So this is the major things that we're dealing with, man. And the thing that what we dealt with in the 60s and the 70s with our apartheid. What's happening now is that the music, if you ain't got the right music, the music ain't gonna soothe the savage beast.
No.
You know what I
it's
mean?
not.
And what we had to put to give to these people was something that we came with messages. We came with the solutions to the problems.
Yeah.
They don't have solutions to the problems now.
Right.
That's right.
Like you said, the idiocracy. The dumbing. My mom used to always call Louise and I, God bless her, she said, don't forget Saturday, whatever, Sunday, John Stoss is on with the dumbing down of America.
Wow.
You know what?
Wow.
But we have arrived. We have arrived for sure, man. I told Louise, I said, and Jerry, we talked about it yesterday, go down in the valley, and so it's like, seriously, like 9 out of 10 people you see are stupid. I mean, they're just stupid. Yeah. As a matter of fact, they had this one. They had this one today. The guy wrote. He said, "Man, my daughter and I took my daughter to McDonald's, and the thing was $4.25. So I gave the woman a 5 1/4. She said, "Wait a minute, I got to go see the manager." The manager said, "Can you please state what you wanted?" He said, "The thing was, $4.25. I gave you a 4.
I'm just trying to get a buck.
I gave him a 5 1/4. The manager said, "Sir, we don't do that kind of thing here," and they gave him 75 cents.
Are you serious?
Didn't give him a buck back.
The dumbing down of America.
Dumbing down of America.
Right.
There's a movie called Idiocracy where Terry Crews plays a president.
Yeah.
Wow.
That we're 500 years into the future. And I said, man, it was funny until you really see it and go, you know what? We're almost there.
Almost there.
The major corporations ran everything, and they were selling Gatorade, because they own that too, to all the farmers, and they couldn't figure out why they couldn't grow crops.
Wow.
Now see, we laugh, but we are very close to that.
Yeah, you deal with the Monsanto.
A lot of people don't do math in their head no
right?
more.
And they're trying to make
own
it
the seeds.
right, and they're trying to make it where only the very elite can get a real education.
Yeah.
But see, the education,
Or the right education.
Well, check it out.
Right.
There's two
Well, it's
things.
so expensive.
No, there's two
Right.
things here. Will Smith's son made a comment that brought up a lot of controversy, and that was, he said, if you want your kid to be smart, take him out of school.
That's right.
But that's the real.
Yeah, because I mean,
'Cause they
I
don't
tell
teach you what you're
I tell
supposed to.
everybody, look, I dropped out of school in the 7th grade, and when they start integrating the schools,
Wow.
I had a white teacher, and she would go around the class and she was asking all the students, she said, what are you going to be when you grow up? And so everybody was saying they were going to be the doctor and be this and be that, so when it got to me, she said, so what are you going to be, Jerry Bell? I said, I'm going to be a great entertainer. She told me, she said, you ain't going to be nothing, you're stupid.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. So I went home. I told my mother, I said, Mom, I don't want to go to school anymore. She said, why? I told her what the teacher said, And she said, well, what are you going to do? I said, Mom, I'm going to be a great entertainer. She said, okay, you don't have to go. It's up to you.
Wow.
So I dropped out. Now, going fast forward, so I'm with New Birth. We do the midnight special. Boom, the whole town sees this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I go back to that city, and they say, okay, we want you. Would you come to our school? And
Of course.
The school you went to, right?
What goes around comes around.
Right. You know what I mean? And would you give a talk to the kids? Okay, yeah, I do that.
Of course.
So I go there. That same teacher's there.
What goes around comes around.
So they named the day after me.
Yes, sir.
They got a chance to see the show because we had the tapes of it from Don Kirchinger's rock concert.
Yeah, I was.
So the tapes, played them, they showed them in the auditorium. The week after I left, she died.
Wow.
Wow.
I had a similar
Wow.
story. And my guy was Italian, Mr. Tagliavori, and he used to say, man, he used to get mad at me because I would miss school because I would play in nightclubs. And he said, I've never seen such a tall, skinny kid with such a long, skinny neck. He said, you got more talent in your little finger than most people have in their whole body. Why don't you come to school? Anyway, fast forward, I went to my attorney's office, Daryl, that I grew up with when I was a kid, Daryl Elliott, and I had given him a gold album. Tagliavori came to his office and saw that gold album and just went to tears.
Wow.
So, hey, right on.
You didn't get that school.
Hey,
Another
do
dap
we
from
have
the
any
greats.
time left for me?
4 minutes.
Can I just
right.
Yeah, yeah.
a shameless plug?
No,
Yeah, I
please.
just
Go
wanted
do
to
that.
mention so people can get this music. You know, now the Earth, Wind, and Fire thing, Now, Then, Forever. It's got, like I said, 2 songs that I produced and wrote, one with Luisa and Hiroto. But the one that we wrote is only on a Target exclusive. And for people at old school, you want to
Touch it.
Yeah, you can take
Yeah.
it to grandma's house.
Yes,
So,
indeed.
so go to Target and get that. And then my album, The Larry Dunn Orchestra, which features Luisa
Yes,
and
indeed.
Procton and a bunch of
Amen.
other good
Yeah.
people.
Yes.
That you can get on my website, LarryDunnMusic.com.
You can do downloads.
And
on
you
iTunes
can do
and
downloads on iTunes. But if you want the hard copy, you can go to LarryDunnMusic.com, and you can get the bundle with Into the Journey and Earth, Wind, and Fire, and it'll be sent right to your door. And so now we're doing that. Eventually, we're going to be working on this boy. But right now, we're
Yeah,
working on
man.
Luisa's album.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Luisa's album.
Yeah.
And also, I did a whole bunch of work on Jay King with Club Nouveau's new album. Man, I'm telling you.
Which I
You know,
have 3 songs
yeah,
on.
right, PB, you go,
Yeah.
boy. And man, this is the best up to date.
And he's
This-
going
this
to do
is the-
some stuff on the Kinsman Dad.
Yes.
Oh, you better believe it.
but Jay, the Heat boy, this is the best Club Nouveau ever. And it's very socially conscious.
Yes.
The lyrically, the music. I know 'cause I did a lot of keyboards, but it's going to be great. And hopefully, we're going to be doing some concerts with the Daz.
All right.
The Kinsman Dads. The Kinsman Dads.
Yeah, the Kinsman.
I can't wait for that.
That's the original Dads.
I
So,
cannot wait for that.
And hey, while we're here too, we need to give a shout out because I told them that we would. They're listening to the Kinsman Dads Band in Cleveland, Ohio, and the founder, the founder, the founder of the Kinsman Dads Band is Michael J. Calhoun, y'all.
Yes.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
Give it up.
Mike,
Can
Mike.
Yeah, Mike.
Can I say hello to my very, very beautiful youngest daughter, Emiliana?
No.
And then send a love shout out to everybody in the 151 countries that's listening to this
Yes,
and
indeed.
watching this. All you music lovers out there, real music lovers, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm just pleased to be here. Thank you, Jerry.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn, Louisa. I love you both.
Hey, and
Yeah.
let me make this perfectly clear too while we're here real quickly. Look, we have no prejudice in us at all.
That's right.
We're only one race, the human race.
That's,
That's
right.
right.
But we have to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us God.
Amen.
So for those of you who can open your minds up and really know the facts,
Yeah.
because history is what it is, not his story, but
Right.
history.
That's right.
History is what it is, and you have to read, you have to go back in time, you have to research, and you have to look and find the truth, because the truth will set you free.
Amen.
Study to show thyself
Yes.
approved.
Amen.
And know thyself.
I just want to say to the public that please pray for our leaders
Amen.
because the
They need
country is at the brink of just losing
It's
it all.
madness.
It's madness. But just pray for our leaders and for God just to move the heart.
Amen.
Right, in a right direction.
Oh, can we? How many minutes we got?
1.5.
1.5. Tosh, you got anything in 1.5?
Poetry in 1.5 minutes. Oh, la, la, la. Young girl, tender and ripe. Going to the club to work the pole at night. Is this your first time? Are you a pro at it? It don't matter, baby girl, about to go at it. She takes 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shots of Patron, a hit of the sticky, and then it's on. See, liquid courage make her feel like she's in her right mind. But if that don't work, go in the bathroom and do a white line. Each gyrating motion, fulfilling their wildest dream. That baby girl grew up so fast she traded her diaper in for a G-string. So tasty to a pack of wolves named after passion fruit or the latest drink. Peaches, Tanqueray, Alizé. It makes everyone think. Who hurt you? See you dancing in a house of ill repute. Do this place remind you of the freaky things your mama's boyfriend did to you? Or is it straight up just the freaking you? Taking home so many tricks that they call a Miss Magic, but not the type that pulls rabbits out of the hat, but the type that make it clap with no hands behind her back. She's working and jerking and twerking like a sex slave. Don't she know that this is just a phase? Return home. Return home, Yemenia. Return home, Cleopatra. Imagine all the things that you can be. You're rich and beautiful and smart like Queen T, and royal like Nefertiti. Remember the sacred writings off the Temple of Abydos and get up off your knees at that Barbie coast. Thank you.
That was Tasha Set, y'all. We will see you next week.
Touch you
right here on Jerry Bell's R&B Soul Classics. Thank you, Larry Dunn.
Thank you so
Miss
much.
Lisa Dunn. And PB25.
yes
One more thing. Check out my baby brother's album, Stephen Dunn, Tears of
All
Joy
right
on
now.
iTunes. Stephen Dunn.
Yeah.
Bye, Jerry.
Bye, Jerry. Thank you.
JB
All right.
Bye, Jerry.
And the crew. Amen.
You are now tuned into LA Talk Live. We're more than just talk. Don't go anywhere.